Okay, so I kind of thought that maybe, this kind of an important video that I should make. I'm sure a bunch of other people have made videos like this, but I kind of wanted to, I guess, add to it, and maybe someone would find value in this. And I'm probably gonna say some of the same stuff other people have said, but maybe I will have some different things to say for this kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't really watched videos about this. I just kind of wanted to make my own video about it. But yeah, so I'm guessing people who are watching this are probably think like, you know, your kid either recently came out or you like, you think that they are LGBT, you think they're gay or whatever. And, maybe they haven't come out to you, but you think they're gay, but you don't know. And you wanna, like, if they do ever come out to you, then you wanna be prepared and whatever. Which, I guess makes sense and whatever. Obviously, you're not a horrible parent for, like, not being sure and, like, you might. You might be scared that you will react the wrong way or something like that, or if your kid already came out to you, maybe you're scared that you did react the wrong way and you might feel horrible about it, which I don't know. I mean, sometimes you fuck up and you need to just, just say sorry to them if you feel like you kind of fucked up on, you know, you had a shitty reaction or whatever, bad reaction to them coming out. But yeah, so I think like if you did if they already came out and you did have a bad reaction, then, go say sorry, obviously, because, you probably made them feel like shit and whatever. And it's like, coming out is a very big thing, and, it takes a lot for someone to come out. It takes so fucking much to come out to people, especially when it's family members. So, you know, and then, if your kid does come out to you, obviously it's just like that probably took so much out of them just to say like 3 words or something like that, like I'm gay or I am gay. Like it probably took so much energy just to say those few words there. So, you know, don't be a dick. Try not to be a dick about it. Um, so, if your kid does come out to you, I guess, kind of just take a moment and, like, whatever. Like, don't start yelling at them. Don't act all fucking disappointed and shit, 'cause then you're just gonna make them feel like trash. And, you should be happy that they, trusted you and wanted to tell you this thing about them because it's a very big thing and very important thing. So you should be happy that they trusted you and had the courage and strength to tell you this, because it's so fucking important, especially when they're a kid. And, you know, having this thing here and them finding out who they are, like, especially, like, being a teenager, young adult, people are still finding stuff out about themselves. I feel like, everyone always says, like, teenager years kind of thing is the time where you usually find this kind of stuff out about yourself, and you gotta try to, like, fit in somewhere, find your own little spot, and, whatever. And, I feel like it shouldn't just be limited to being a teenager. Like, once you're an adult, I feel like people are always like, yeah, I don't need to do any more growing. I already know myself. It's like, no, you should always be growing. You should always be, finding more stuff about yourself, even when you are like 70 or some shit. Like, you can still find out different things about yourself, even if you're close to 100 or something. Like, usually you'd be like, hey, if someone's like 70 or 80, then like they don't need to do any more soul searching or anything. But it's like, no, people are always growing and changing. You shouldn't just accept that you are this person. You should always be seeking out different things. So, But obviously, with being a teenager and young adult, it's when you, I think it's just since that is when you start getting into finding yourself more and finding your space, your spot, then like it becomes a little more important. And then, obviously as you grow older, it kind of, you kind of expect change, I guess, and you kind of expect and whatever to be different a little bit after a few years. And you kind of not really give a shit about what other people think. So, but I mean, also, like, obviously when older people, like, someone who's older can still come out and it can still be a big thing and whatever for them. Um, but, it's a tiny bit different, I guess, when you're older. Um, but, when you're a kid, it's a big deal. So, you know, don't don't be like act all sad or disappointed and stuff when they do come out, because that would probably make them feel like shit. That would probably just be a big letdown for them. Now, obviously, you could ask them what they mean if you don't know what they're talking about. Like, if they say they're non binary or gender fluid and you don't know what that is, then you can ask them, like, what is non-binary? What is gender fluid? What does it mean for you? And then they'll probably just tell you like the definition of what non-binary or gender fluid is or whatever that their thing there. Like, if you don't know what the word is, you don't know what the term means, then you can just ask them like, what exactly is this? And then just like, they'll probably tell you the best that they can, and you know, obviously you shouldn't be like, oh, that's not real, that sounds like bullshit. Like, no, don't do that because it is real. It's not bullshit. There are many people who are, you know, there's many trans people, there's many gay people, there's many bi people, there's many pan people. Like, you know, there's many people who identify with this and that, like gender and sexuality. So you should not just be like, this is fake, this is bullshit. Like, no. Listen to them, listen to what they're saying. You should accept them. Um, if your kid comes out as like trans or whatever and like they want to go by a different name or pronouns or whatever, then you should, use the name and pronouns. And it's actually not that hard to use different names and pronouns. You just have to kind of get into the habit of it. It's kind of like, whenever a character, whatever, in a movie, like, I guess, Monster High, for example, Monster High Gen 1 and 2 were a thing, and then now it's Gen 3, and Frankie specifically. In Gen 1 and 2, Frankie used she, her pronouns, but for Gen 3, they changed it to Frankie being non binary, and so Frankie uses they, them pronouns, and it's pretty easy to just use they, them instead of she, her when I'm talking about Gen 3 Frankie. It gets very easy the more you see it, the more you know about it. So it's not that hard. It's actually pretty fucking easy to just use different pronouns or a different name. Like, using different pronouns and different name is it's so easy. I don't get how people can be like, "Oh, it's too hard. I just want to use the previous whatever." Like, no, it's not that hard. You just want to be difficult. So, I don't really get how people can just be like, "Oh, it's too hard." But like, no, it's not that hard. So, just stop with the bullshit. It's not that hard to use a different name or pronouns. Like, obviously using different name or using one name and pronouns for however many years and then using different ones all of a sudden can be kind of whatever, but you just have to get used to it and just, don't make a big fuss about it. Just try to do it. If you make a big fuss about it and just be like, oh, why can't I just whatever, then you're basically telling your kid that you don't care about them. You don't want to try for them. You don't give a shit what they want. You just want to sit in your little bubble and do whatever, and you don't care about their feelings, basically. That's what you're telling them when you don't want to use their pronouns and name that they want you to use. So don't be a dick. Use the name and pronouns that they want you to use, you know? So, and that's specific for, gender stuff, transgender stuff. So, obviously, if they are whatever sexuality that's not straight, like gay, pan, bi, whatever, obviously, you don't really need to use a different name and pronouns then, unless they are also trans. Like, if they're trans and gay, or trans and whatever, but obviously, if they're just gay or just whatever, then, then you wouldn't need to. But, like, obviously, for if they are gay or whatever, then you would have to accept that they are going to be dating other people that are of different genders. So, obviously if your kid is a boy and they are gay, then he would have boyfriends and, that's normal. You would have to expect that and accept that. Or if your daughter is a lesbian, then, she's going to be dating other women and you are just going to have to accept that. And if your kid is pan, then they would probably be dating people of many different genders, like male, female, non-binary, gender fluid, any whatever. It wouldn't really matter. Or if they're bi, then they would be dating like whichever few things there. So, you know, you would have to accept that and expect that. And also, if a pan person or a bi person is dating someone of a specific gender, they're still bi, they're still pan. Like, if your daughter is dating a man, that does not mean she is straight now. That means, she's dating whatever. Like, she just likes this person. So, don't be a dick about that either. Because I see a lot of people where they're just like, oh, I'm bi, but I'm marrying, or I'm dating a man, or marrying a man, or whatever. Does this mean I'm not bi anymore? It's like, no, you're still bi. You're still attracted to multiple genders. It just means that you want to marry this person or date this person. So, also if they have not dated someone of different genders, that does not mean they are less pan or less bi. That just means that they don't have as much experience as some other people, and that's not a bad thing. That's perfectly normal. So don't be a dick about that. That would be shitty. Also, it's like, don't worry about them being like, like obviously there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, being gay is bad because you can, if you have gay sex you're gonna get sick and die or whatever. It's like, hold up. Stop. No, just be like, even if, like, you can still be straight and have straight sex and still, you know get sick and have like whatever diseases. Like, you just have to be careful about it. You don't, just having sex doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get sick. You just have to be smart about it. So, you shouldn't be like, oh, if you do it though, you're gonna get sick and die. Like, no. I'm sure they already know that they should be using like protection and whatever. Obviously you can tell them and like make sure that they know that, but don't just assume that they're just gonna go off fucking everyone that they see and like getting sick and whatever and getting spreading diseases and stuff. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure usually the LGBT community is really good about that and knowing that, like, don't spread diseases. So, don't act like they're gonna do some dumb shit. Like, they are still kids, but also it's kind of just like, you know, that's why they have to learn these kinds of things so they don't be stupid. Um, and obviously, being LGBT does not mean it's a cult or anything. We're not fucking brainwashing your kids. They can't choose their sexuality or gender. That's another reason why it's like you shouldn't freak out and be a complete idiot about it, is because, they can't just not be gay. They can't just not, whatever. Like, their sexuality is their sexuality. That's it. No buts, ifs, or whatever about it. Like, that is who they are. They can't change their gender, they can't change their sexuality, just like you can't change your gender or your sexuality. It doesn't work that way. They are who they are, and you just have to accept it. So, you know, don't be kicking them out, don't be disowning them or anything. You just have to accept it. It's, not that hard, really. So, don't worry about this stuff. I'm sure, if they've been on the internet and they've looked stuff up, I'm sure they already know about this stuff, especially if they're gonna be coming out, then, they probably looked stuff up on the internet before and whatever, so, you know, I'm sure they already know quite a bit if they've been on the internet enough about it, if they looked at it enough on the internet, so, you know, and then you could also look stuff up on the internet too, just like with this video. It's kind of like, just look stuff up and then you know what stuff means and how stuff works and whatever. So, yeah. All you have to do is love them, accept them, you know. If your kid is trans, then you should let them wear whatever clothes that they feel comfortable in. Let them cut their hair or grow their hair out or whatever. Let them wear makeup if they want to. And that goes for any kid, really. Like, whether they're trans or not. Like, just let them wear makeup if they want to. Like, obviously, if they are super young, then they shouldn't be putting on a like full face of makeup. Like, it's weird with like beauty pageants for kids. And it's just like they're wearing a full face of makeup, and it's like, no, stop. They should not do that. Like, obviously they can play around and whatever, but beauty pageants, they're kind of just fucked up. So fuck that shit. But like, if they just want to wear like a little bit of lipstick or eyeliner or mascara, just a little whatever, then it's kind of like, let them practice, I guess. Everyone starts somewhere and whatever. If they want to get good at it, then they're gonna have to kind of practice and whatever. And as an adult, they can wear whatever. So, don't worry about that either. But when they're trans, let them, like, if, trans man, trans woman, trans girl, trans boy, whatever, like, obviously trans women would want to grow their hair out, or trans girls, they'd want to grow their hair out probably. So, let them grow their hair out. Trans men or trans boys would probably want to cut their hair shorter. Just like, I'm just assuming there, but, you know, just let them have like whatever clothes and hairstyle they would want to have, so then they don't feel like shit anymore, and or they feel less like shit, because sometimes being able to do your hair however you want or wear different clothes, sometimes that can actually help kind of a lot. So let them do that, and there's no harm in letting them wear whatever clothes or cut their hair, because their hair, like, you can easily just like go back to how your hair was before, like letting it grow back out or recutting it, whatever. Like, it's just hair, who cares? Also with clothes, it's kind of like, people get new clothes every few years or however long later anyways, so it's kind of like, and maybe if they don't whatever with those kinds of clothes anymore, then they will just get new clothes anyways. So, don't worry about that. It's fine. Just let them figure their shit out, and they, like, let them be happy. They'll figure it out and they'll be happy, and that should be what you want for your kid. You should want them to be happy, and letting them do this kind of stuff would make them happy. So, you know, your end goal for your kids should always be letting them be happy. So, you know, I just kind of, whatever. I think, you know, this video is kind of long now. I hope I kind of got all the points across and explained stuff well. um, Obviously, there's other videos that may have been better than mine, so if you don't really, I guess, whatever for this video, maybe you could go watch another video and see if you kind of, whatever for those videos. But I feel like I kind of said some of the same stuff that they would say anyways, so I don't know. But yeah, just accept your kid, love them. You know, that's all you really need to do is love them and accept them and, you know, call them by whatever name and pronouns that they'd want to be called by and whatever. So, yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty easy. So, yeah, um, I guess that'll be it for this video though. But yeah, just love them and accept them. That's kind of all you really need to do, like you did before. Same shit. So yeah. Anyways, I guess bye then.